Yeah, man. Thank you so much for that reflection. Just so affirming for um, some of the trials and tribulations, internal battles that I go through and have been through in using my voice and really allowing that to come online, because it's such a big piece for me in my journey, because I have discovered recently that I do just have like quite a fucking clear bullshit detector. Like I can tell when, like, really quite quickly what's true and what's not true, regardless of what my qualifications are on a subject. There's like a deep internal truth that sometimes comes out where I'm like, okay, this is like that, and that's that, and that's that. End of story. And so for my whole life, as I've quite often been in modern society, certainly, like, seeing so much nonsense go on around me, and even as a young kid and a young teenager, I'm like, the amount of times I've had to swallow down saying something that I've wanted to say. And so I've had to do a lot of work, and I continue to do a lot of work in activating this throat chakra area and like healing that and allowing it to be used. And starting the podcast was a huge part in that journey for me, and continues to be. And interestingly, I've made like 23 in total, but I've made 3 in the last 4 days. And so it's coming back online again, and it's coming back online because I feel like my courage to use my voice is coming back online. And that's part of that, is like not giving quite as many fucks about what people think anymore, which is difficult as a recovering people pleaser, online and offline. So as I go on this journey and I've have these experiences and I go internally and I discover like what my authentic self is, I get a lot of confidence from that. And that self-confidence piece is really important when we're communicating what's true for us, how we see things, especially in a world now where there's a lot of gaslighting going on. And I'm saying this, my experience is different to what you're saying. Like, this is what I see, this is what I'm experiencing, and we can quite often, we get told like, that's wrong, what you're experiencing is wrong. And your reality is can be shut down and denied. And it's kind of what we do to kids quite a lot of the time. Like, you've got nothing to cry about, sort of thing. You've got nothing to complain about. And the kid's just trying to express themselves authentically, and they just have their reality sort of closed down. And if we do this to multiple generations, and we have multiple generations of adults who grow up questioning whether what they're experiencing is real or not. So going inside and like discovering that, oh no, there is this like internal confidence, what I'm experiencing is real, despite what you guys say or what is happening in your specific realities. Then it's like, now I've got to use this, because there are other people who deserve also to have their voices activated too, at a time when censorship is going mad, and for some reason conversations are shut down unless you're like, show me your qualifications. It's like, well, I'm still allowed to have a conversation. How can I discover the truth about something if I can't even have a conversation about it? And so I think it's really important that if people are feeling called to start a podcast, if people are feeling called to start a YouTube channel, a lot of people ask me over the years, it's always a yes. It's like, just go for it. The absolute last thing that you want to do is, in 10 years' time, wonder if you should have started a podcast or if you should have started a YouTube channel. Because, and I've been asked thousands of times, how do you think I should start a YouTube channel? Over the years, of all the people, I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel, but I'm not so sure about this. And I always just say, you've got a telephone that films stuff. Like, you don't need the equipment either. The editing software is free. If you just make something, export it and upload it, and the whole process of doing that, you will learn so much about yourself. And that's the most valuable piece to any of this creative expression. And for me, what I've learned about, like, I sort of cherry picked my expressions, or the way I express myself artistically and through my videos as well, from other people who are successful, who I deemed as successful. And this is all sort of before I realized, like, oh, there's this authentic version of myself that I'm now discovering. And now, over the last couple of years, I'm like, okay, well, who do I want to be? Who do I want to express from? And instead of just copying what might be popular the whole time, and then, because ultimately where that ended me was, I was pretending to be someone I wasn't most of the time, and that got so uncomfortable, and I refused to look at it subconsciously. I didn't even realize what was going on. This is all like out of my awareness, but it just piled up and piled up and piled up to the point where I believe that I was guided into a motorcycle accident so that I could be pulled out of that matrix, out of that like illusion of identity, and go on the incredibly beautiful and painful experience of discovering who I actually am. And now the reason I'm making more podcasts again, and the reason I'm super excited to start making more YouTube videos again, is because I feel like I know who I am now, and I feel like that confidence comes through in the way I speak to people in real life and online, and the way I speak to the camera now. And I also feel like, as my lifestyle is lending itself to me being more of a flow state, then I can actually get into a flow state, and then it's actually just like my heart just explodes, and I feel like I'm in the pocket. There's nothing better than feeling like you're in the flow state. And yeah, I feel like that's how I want to experience my life. That's how I want to carve out my career, through self-expression from truth, at a time when I feel like it's needed more than ever, so that's the service piece to me as well. It's like, how can I be of service? Looking for meaning in my life. I want to be of service to other people. And I have a Patreon community as well, where I drop little voice notes into a Telegram group and make videos for them, and create a bit of a community where I know that I'm not going to be judged in how I express myself. So I also give myself like tiers. Like there are certain things that I wouldn't put on my YouTube channel that I would put on my Patreon. There are certain things that I'll speak to on my podcast that I won't put on my YouTube channel, because there's no fucking comment section on my podcast. So I'm also protecting myself, so that I can carry on serving the people who actually want to see it.
Make sure y'all head over to benjosephstewart.com, become a member. You'll have access to the growing library of deeper dives, where I talk about all the stuff that I really can't talk about on YouTube. Make sure you get involved in the Discord chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening, talking about new theories, being able to interweave into the greater conversation that is how we awaken infinity. That's our highest potential. And I just want to remind you, you are the most powerful technology ever known to creation. Wield it like an artist with a conscience.